Welcome from America with Eimon. This is the first time I'm running the show in English. Usually I run it in Arabic and I say أهلا بكم من أمريكا مع أيمن. Why I'm running the show today in English? Because I have a special guest with me. Let's welcome Mr. Mike Knox, the Republican nominated for Harris County Sheriff for the next election. Welcome, Mr. Knox.
Well, thank you, Amir. I appreciate it. I really enjoy talking to you when we meet in person. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your program.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time. I know how your time is very limited, and thank you for finding time to me and getting the time to talk about the election for my community. Actually, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm running the show usually in Arabic, but I provide my people. The translation will be provided, so there is no excuse. You will understand what we're talking about today.
Well, sí, yo hablo poquito español, pero no Arabic.
No Arabic, yes, I know. So as we talked before in an in-person meeting, we talk about the coming election, and the election this year is very hot. Especially we see President Biden go out of the race and Kamala Harris coming back, and a lot of changes happening, and what's happening in Pennsylvania to former President Donald Trump. So it's a lot of things happening. This time is very hot election. So some of people, as my statistics, I go to make some homework before the interview. So I found that's only about 60% of the American population only who are the people who go to vote. A lot of people who's watching us from all over the country, they don't know why I'm vote. As real as my vote is count. So can you tell me why it's important to vote, and what is the kind of election we go through? It's only the presidential election and Congress, or there is multi-votes?
Oh my goodness, there's so many to vote for. You're right, Amir. The idea of voting, I mean, there are people who die all over the world fighting for the right and opportunity to vote. Mm-hmm. And here in America, we take it for granted. And of course, only citizens can vote in our elections. Mm-hmm. But some of the best Americans that I've ever met were Americans who became American or became U.S. citizens by coming through the immigration process. Mm-hmm. And they're very confused about how to vote and what to vote for. Mm-hmm. I like to tell people to vote for your morals and your values. Mm-hmm. If you like a party that wants to basically kill children or mutilate children and kill babies, then you need to vote for the Democrats. If you want somebody who believes that you have the right to your own opinion, that mm-hmm. you have the right to enjoy your future as you define that, then you need to go with the Republican side. So that's just my little partisan thing there. Yeah. I happen to be, of course, the Republican side of that ticket. I believe in the rule of law, and I believe in the Constitution, and I believe that the government should be the least amount of your worries in your life instead of the most amount. Now, as far as the elections, we have elections from the presidential election all the way down to the sheriff or the district clerk. I mean, there are 70 some odd judges that are going to be on this year's ballot in November. There are district clerks and county clerks and DAs and sheriffs and constables and just all manner of stuff. It's a very long ballot.
The Board of Education.
I'm sorry?
The Board of Education, and this is very important to our kids' history. Yeah, kids' future. Yeah.
I mean, anything that gets elected is going to be on that November ballot. It's a very long ballot, and a lot of people make the mistake of they just go for the presidential election, they vote for that, and then they leave. Well, mm-hmm. they what we call undervoted. And we want that to stop. We want you to vote all the way down the ballot, because I have a little surprise for your audience. Mm-hmm. The government that affects you most is the government closest to you, mm-hmm. which is your city government, your school districts, your MUD districts, your county government, your state government. They affect you a lot more mm-hmm. than the national government does. And so, people are just going for the top of the ballot, if you will, the president and vice president and all that. well, they're missing all the stuff that's really going to impact them, that's really going to control their lives. And so it's important that you go all the way down to the very last one. It takes a little bit of time, but you'll feel better for it, and we'll all be better off for it. So
Of course,
vote all the way down.
Of course, especially you need to do your homework. Like before you go to vote, just make some search, see who is nominated, who is what's the programs, and what is the difference between.
Yeah, the best way to do that, because there's so many candidates on the ballot, you may just want to research the two parties, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. They advertise, or they put on the internet, their platforms. These are the things that we think that are important. And when you compare the two, you pick the one that is most closest to your value system. You look for candidates in that area. And I think I don't know too much about the Muslim community, but I know they're very family oriented, and they're very business oriented, and they're very godly people. And it seems like they're a natural match, although some of them get confused and vote for the Democrats. But likewise, I think we share more in common with them than the Democrat Party does.
Exactly. And even like the people coming from the Middle East in general, even they are Muslim or Christians, they say they share the same values. Like when we talk about the Middle Eastern, it's close to our Texas culture, which is the family, God, and the values. We don't need to go to kill the kids before they came. We are not friendly with the curriculums in the school, talking to some agendas. No, we need to kids go to the school just for learning, just to learn science, math, history. That's it. We don't need to go involve them for adult stuff. So don't believe yourself if you don't vote. Yeah. So I usually tell people, don't blame anybody if you don't go and vote, and just blame yourself, because you sit down at home watching the TV, and some other people, they take a decision for your kids' future.
That's right. Not only that, but even if you skip a vote, let's say that you don't know which candidate to pick and you just skip that race, then you've given 2 votes to the opponent of whoever it is that you would normally like to vote for. So that's why I'm saying it's probably easier to investigate the parties than it is each individual candidate, and the candidates are aligned according to those party criteria. So each candidate in the race has undergone a party primary. So the party itself has decided that these people represent the values of their organization, and logically you can assume that they're going to follow the pattern of the party that they represent. For example, I'm Republican. I went through a Republican primary. Republican voters decided that I was the strongest Republican to run for sheriff, and they selected me to represent them in this election.
Exactly.
So unless you want to investigate, and I don't discourage that, but there's a lot of people running, and you're going to spend a lot of time if you're going to research them all.
Exactly. So talking about the Republican Party, and you Republican, I mentioned this before in my one of my videos. I'm Republican, so I just mentioned this like loudly and nothing to hide. So let's talk about the Republican agenda for coming election, because it's very important to highlight the agenda, like the why you go vote for Republican if you want to vote for the Republicans. Why to vote for them? What is the Republican agenda for the presidential election, at least?
Actually, Kamala Harris said this the other day, and she's the Democrat candidate for president. And she said, there's no more clear distinction. There's never been more clear distinction between the Republican and the Democratic Party today. And she's absolutely right. The Democrat Party is all about controlling your life, controlling every aspect of your life. They're going to offer you free medical care, free this and free that. Nothing in the world is free. Nothing. And when somebody offers you something for free, they're getting something from you, and what they're going to get control. The Republican Party, on the other hand, is constitutional based. They want the Constitution to determine the scope of government that we have. there are right now in our country, we have too much federal government, and it violates our own constitution. There's only a handful of things that the federal government is responsible for, but we've allowed that to happen. The Congress, for example, is supposed to control the purse strings, but they've ceded that power to the administration, the president's office, over the course of time. We need people to get back into those offices that are going to pull back that authority from the administration and restore it back to its constitutional roots, which is the House of Representatives and the Senate. And so I think that's the big battle. Are we going to continue to have a United States as we've known it in the past, that is a constitutional republic, or are we going to move toward communism and socialism? And that's the clear distinction. And that's why it's so important that we get our voters out to make sure that our candidates win.
Exactly. So also, one of the things I want to highlight to my audience, especially because a lot of things the people just try to say it in between, which is if President Trump back to the White House, you cannot bring your family here if you are immigrant, and that's not true. This is not true. No. Because it's constitution. If you are a citizen and you want to invite your family to come here and get the green card, this is a process. The president doesn't control everything. There is a Congress, there is a House, Senate, they decide, and there is a law. Nobody is above the law. So don't be afraid if you want to vote for the Republican, if you want to vote for Trump, Vance. Don't be afraid. If you want to bring your family, you can. Nobody will.
Well, on the immigration issue, Amar, let me just tell you this. I give this analogy. You have a home that you live in, and when you're not there, my guess is you lock the doors because you don't want strangers wandering in and eating your food or shopping in your closet for your clothes or walking out with your television set or your whatever it is you've got.
Yeah.
But if you invite friends over, they're welcome to use all those things. They're welcome to drink your water or eat your food, or if they need to, you'll probably share some clothes with them if they need it. I mean, so it's all about, in our country, it's the same thing. We don't mind people coming to live with us. We enjoy that. We look forward to that. But we want you to come as an invited guest, not someone sneaking in the back window when we're not at home. And this is what illegal crossing of the border is. It is sneaking in the back window to use the services, use the resources of the United States. And a country cannot exist without a firm and secure border. And this is what President Trump wants. He's not going to stop immigration, lawful immigration. And really, when it comes down to it, I mean, how unfair is it that somebody who wants to come here using the legal system takes years to get their citizenship status, and you can just cross the border if you don't want to do that and cut in line, and you get some sort of special treatment? That is just patently unfair to everybody, not just the illegal immigrant, but it's unfair to those seeking asylum and also seeking to become citizens of the United States. So Donald Trump is no threat to immigration. He is a threat to illegal immigration. Absolutely. And that is a big difference.
Absolutely. I like your example, which is you lock the door for the strangers and your friends will come. So I love this. So let me ask you about your program as nominated for the Republican at the sheriff position. So let's talk about a little bit, what is the sheriff position, because for the people, they don't know what is the sheriff duty, and also what's your program as Mike Knox for this position if you get elected as a sheriff for Harris County in Houston, Texas?
Right. Well, first, let's start constitutionally. In the state of Texas, we have a national constitution and, of course, the state constitution. The state constitution identifies the levels of government at the state level. They include the commissioner's court and the sheriff. So they're both mentioned in our Texas Constitution. And there's two jobs that the sheriff has. First is to operate the county jail. Most people think our first job is law enforcement, but actually, the first job of a sheriff is to operate the county jail in a safe manner. Secondarily, is the enforcement of law in the unincorporated areas of the county. That is, places that don't have their city police and that sort of thing. So what's been going on right now is our current sheriff, I think, doesn't really have a grasp on those constitutional duties. He's busy doing DEI and all kinds of weirdness as part of the party platform of the Democrat Party. We need somebody in that job that wants to do the work, and that would be me. For example, it's not the job of the sheriff's department to rehabilitate criminals. Our job is simply to hold them until they have their day in court. And one of the things that we need to be able to do effectively is keep people alive long enough for them to get to their day in court. And we're having about 2.5 people die per month in the jail. Wow. And it's amounting to quite a number of people. And these are unforced errors. They're incidents where people are not getting the proper medication. For example, diabetes medicine. If you don't take diabetes medicine regularly and you have diabetes, you can die from that. And people have died from that in the jail. We have fentanyl overdoses and other drug overdoses in the jail. How are those drugs getting into the jail? This is what a sheriff that's paying attention is going to stop that. That's what I'm going to do. Secondarily, with the law enforcement community, we need to go back to catching bad guys and making the community safe. Right now, criminals from all over the world come to Harris County because they know that if they do get caught, they won't get punished. And this is, of course, why we need a strong DA and strong judges. But at least they're going to get caught with me as sheriff. We're going to make sure we catch them and at least introduce them to the criminal justice system and see how that works out for them. Hopefully, we would like to see people wanting to avoid Harris County if their intention is to violate the rights of some other person or steal their property or their money or even their life. We need that to stop here. And it takes an aggressive policeman to do that. And that's what I'm going to be.
Wonderful. Great. Best of luck in your race. And we hope everyone who's watching us from Harris County vote for Mike Knox.
Yeah, vote for Mike Knox for Harris County Sheriff, and we'll have a much safer county. I promise that. That's exactly the only promise I'm making this campaign, is it will be safer than it is now.
Great. So finally, before we wrap up our conversation, I know how busy you are. I wish we can continue this until tomorrow morning, but I know you have a lot of other campaign. Yeah. So well, finally,
they say there's 2 ways to run for office in Texas. One is unopposed. That means you have no opponent. I've never had that pleasure.
I know.
I've always had an opponent. And the other way to run is like your hair is on fire.
Yes.
And I am running like my hair is on fire.
I'm following you. I'm following your page. I see how many activities you always doing and always keep your audience like engaged with your activities. And I'm actually happy because I remember when we met in one of the Republican events, and I saw your energy, and this is wonderful. And again, thank you for coming today to my show. Before we wrap up, I just want you to give message for people who don't vote before, and the people who hesitate to vote Republican.
Okay. Well, first of all, if you've not voted before, you need to sign up to get your voter registration card.
Which is this one.
That's what will be delivered to you in the mail. There's another form you fill out. You can go online, or you can go to the post office and get one. You want to fill that out and mail it in. You'll get that card that looks with the yellow front. That
yes. It has your name, your address, and your voting number, and where you go to vote. And there's a QR code. You can scan it. It shows you where to vote.
Right. And that's very convenient. Other than that, you just need to show up at your poll, either in early voting or on election day. Now, in the United States or in Texas, we have early voting, which is usually 2 weeks before election day. So this year, I believe it starts on October the 21st. So you can any polling location that is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. from the 21st all the way till about 3 days before the 5th. So it'll be like till the 1st of November. And then you can vote anywhere. After that, you have to go to your precinct to vote on election. So I recommend that people vote early, not often, but early. I just want you to vote one time, not a bunch of time.
Not a bunch of time.
That's a little political
It will
humor.
count. It will count as one.
Yeah, just
only one time. Even if you love Donald Trump, just only one vote.
Yeah. So, and the reason I really think that particularly the Muslim and Christian community, if we voted our faith, that in my Christian Bible, there's discussion about when the people choose ungodly leaders, then they mourn. They're in misery. When they choose godly leaders, they rejoice because their life is good and happy. And I think that there's a clear distinction between Republican and Democrat ideology nowadays, and that is I believe them to be evil. Actually, the whole party process with all the transgenderism and they can't figure out who's a male and who's a female and what is that? I don't know. We got women competing in men competing in women's sports. All things that are anti-biblical or anti-Quran that are going on in the Texas and the United States. Yep. And the Republicans are all about that religious freedom, all about exploring your own faith and using that in your daily life and including in your schools. And so I think we are the better fit. So I strongly encourage your listeners, if they were considering the Democratic Party, to do a little bit more research into the party platform, and then I think you'll come over to our side. And when you do that, don't forget to go all the way down that ballot there. It's a long ballot, and find sheriff and vote for Mike Knox.
Of course. I'm talking about the Bible and choosing the good leader. We always in the Psalm we said the king's heart's between God's hands. So well, there's a big myth in the United States about that government should be separated from religion. That's not what our Constitution says. Our Constitution actually says freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. And that is words matter, and they chose the word of religion so that you could bring your religious experience into the public platform, into your leadership style, into your government, and govern the way you believe God would want you to. Exactly. And I'm a believer in that. So, and this is how our country built. Is if you get any dollar bill and see what's written on it, it's "In God We Trust." That's it.
That's right.
That's it. Thank you so much, Mr. Knox, for your time, and I'm really enjoying talking to you today. Best of luck in your campaign, and hopefully see you soon. And the Harris County Sheriff. So,
well, I'm just getting my hat to you, Amir. That's a technician. Thank you for
so much.
Program today. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do it again before too long. Hopefully we'll do it after I'm sheriff, and we'll see how things are going.
Of course. We will definitely do this. We'll definitely do this. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching me today. And don't forget the election day. Don't forget, if you don't have this, go and make it. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and share. We need everyone in the whole country to hear what we say today. Thank you so much for being with us for all this episode, and best of luck for everyone. And I will close, as they said always in the presidential speech, God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
Okay, good deal.
Thank you.